If you ever painted in the wild, you might experience how hard it is. Why is it so hard? How can we make it easier and more enjoyable? In this video, I will share with you 5 tips on how to make your life easier, while taking you on an epic adventure on a natural reserve called Terra Peninsular in San Quintín, Baja California. Hello, my name is Puig, a multimedia artist. The 2 paintings on this video are part of an ongoing series of landscapes from my home state in Baja California. My mission, putting these hidden places on the map and show more of the natural landscapes of the most remote state in Mexico. This time, the Baja expedition took us to a place called Terra Peninsular. When they were taking us to the reserve, we even saw a coyote. It was pretty magical because I felt like he was saying hi. It was pretty cool. The original plan was to climb up the first volcano and paint from there. The volcano is called Complejo Sudoeste, which means Southwest Complex. I was so excited carrying all my gear on my backpack. We saw some warning signs that the area was in restoration, and we got to experience some unique succulents and some unique plants that you can only see on that type of ecosystem. But the wind was brutal. It even made the climb pretty tough. The fog was pretty thick and the wind was pulling it in, but I had a hope that once we were on the top, it would clear up a little bit and the wind would get a little less strong. Unfortunately, the wind was even worse. It was misty and windy, plus there was any view at all. You could only see like white in front of you. From up there, the idea was to see the Humedales, because that's the best place to get the best view. On the bright side, I get a peek inside the dormant volcano, which was a really cool experience. It was pretty epic also with the wind, but painting from up there, not possible. And that leads me to tip number 1. Bring only the essential. If you bring more than you need, it's overwhelming. If you bring less than you need, then you won't be able to work. And this advice comes from experience, because for the first painting, I forgot the clamps to hold up my work while I was painting. And this was pretty bad because I had to hold the artwork with one hand and paint with the other one while my palette was flying away from me because the wind even down from the volcano was pretty strong. Not as bad as up there, but it was pretty strong. The idea for this first piece was to paint the volcano overseeing the dunes, and I was on the dunes painting the volcano. On the other side, we could see the houses where the park rangers lived, and in between the dunes and where the park rangers lived, we can see the ocean entering with hundreds, if not thousands of birds. I'd never seen so many birds in Baja California in one single place. Here on the map, we can see that there are 12 volcanoes in total, but only 3 volcanoes on the protected area. And this is the one we climbed. The dunes here were full of endemic plants. I really loved how they contrast with the sand, and they would even draw patterns over the dunes. And this leads us to tip number 2, use your time wisely. If you know the elements and the time is working against you, then just relax, capture what you need, and finish later the painting. You don't have to finish the painting on the spot if you can't. I would suggest get the light down and the colors, because this is something that you can't really get from a photo. And number 2, try to get the feeling of the moment in the painting. It's hard to explain what is a feeling, but once you see a painting, you know what the feeling means. So try to capture lighting and the feeling for the painting. Which emotions does the place you are at make you feel? That's what we have to capture. And that's what I mean when I say capture emotion. These 2 essential things you won't be able to get later from a photo. So it's important to get them in the moment. And these 2 things, you can capture them really quick. Details can be easily added on the studio later with a photo. So I always take a photo and add details in the studio or fix a little mistake here and there. I try to capture what that place caught my eye. Because of what I told you, for the first painting, I decided only to capture the main elements, which is the relationship between the volcano, the dunes, and the ocean. Later on the studio, I decided to add all the small seagulls and the houses where the park rangers live. The volcano is on the background. On the middle ground, we have the ocean entering with all the seabirds. And on the foreground, we have the dunes. The dunes with all the grass. I didn't manage to capture all the grass, but at least I got the colors right to fix the paint later. While I was packing and trying to move somewhere else to find another great spot for a painting, my mind raised the question, how are the dunes formed? I later did some research and found out that throughout many years, when the wind pushes the sand from the beach, the sand starts forming small mounds, and then the plants take root on them, and these will help the dunes settle down and stay in that position. The following day, for the next painting, we went to the other side of the volcano, where we could see the emblematic Humedales, also known as Wetlands. This day, the wind was still strong, maybe a little bit stronger than the last day when I painted the volcano overseeing the dunes. And this led me to tip number 3, extreme weather and when to paint. It's better to paint early in the morning or late in the afternoon for 2 main reasons. First one being the lighting is better because you get more shadows and more contrast. And the second one being normally the intense weather, it's a bit calmer. This is not always true, but sometimes it helps. Something I can tell you again from experience because I didn't do that for this second painting. For me, painting places like this, it's really important because we never know how long they're gonna be there and if they might disappear or lose a bit of their magic because of human development. Painting these places that might disappear, for me at least, is like making a love letter to something that might cease to exist, at least the way we experience it now. Something sad that I noticed on this trip is that around the Humedales area, outside of the natural reserve, they were starting to sell lots. And I feel like this would impact the remoteness of this place. Even though the reserve will stay there, everything around it will change once these areas start developing. But you know, it's hard to fight against progress. This brings to mind a Mexican painter that I really admire, and I feel like he needs to be more on the spotlight. His name is Jose Maria Velasco. I got the chance to see a lot of his paintings in Mexico City, and those paintings were really big. It gives you the chance and the privilege to go back in time to appreciate the valley where Mexico City is currently located before the huge urban sprawl. The weather is part of painting plein air. It's more common to have not so friendly weather than to have good weather when we're painting outside. This is what makes us tougher and better painters. You never know if this scenery will disappear or it will stay the way you're looking at. And it's normal to encounter climatological situations. And this is actually a good thing because it's part of the experience of being on the wild. So just focus on capturing it as it is because you'll get better with time. Painting in these conditions will force you to adapt and improve, which brings us to tip number 4, mental fatigue and distractions. Know when to stop, as I did with both paintings. If you push your limits too hard, you can end up with a painting beyond repair. And believe me, I've done it a lot of times. I guess it's part of the process of learning. Some of the reasons I would stop the painting and continue on the studio would be the lighting has changed so much that it's not possible to continue using the same shapes. If the lighting and the shadows have changed so much that it's impossible to recognize the same shapes that we started with, that might be a good time to stop and finish later. You could finish on the studio or come back the next day at the same time and continue the painting. This window for the lighting changes so much, I guess it's between 15 minutes and 30 minutes. We can also take a step back, analyze the painting for like 30 seconds so we can clear up our mind, analyze the painting and take a few deep breaths so we can relax and reconnect with the painting. Tip number 5. This might be the most important one, which is relax, enjoy the moment, and just let things flow. Enjoy the moment and enjoy the landscape. Even in the worst case scenario, we ruined our painting, we can learn from our mistakes, we've gained experience, so the best thing we can do at the end of the day is remind ourselves why we visited this place, to enjoy it. Overall, I'm happy with the result because it was a great trip and I learned a lot. I get to experience a place I never have been before. Even though I didn't finish the paintings those days, I'm happy with the way they end up looking. They talk to me and remind me what I felt that day on that trip. I would like to thank and acknowledge all the amazing work the people in Terra Peninsular do, because without them, this place wouldn't be what it is, and they are the ones that protect it. You can check their social media, the links will be down below. If you want to help them out, you can even donate to their cause. I hope you enjoyed the video. Very soon, we will start a new series on a different country. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'd love to read and reply. Give us a like if you enjoy it, and subscribe for more adventures and painting videos. See you on the next one.